Hello everyone, my name is Kumar Sushant and I have secured All India Rank 122 in UPSC Civil Services 2022. I have completed my graduation from Ramlal Anand College, University of Delhi in English Literature. Now coming to the part of my preparation, my basic strategy for prelims was that once I complete my syllabus, my target was around 2 to 3 times, including the NCRTs and the basic resources like Lakshmikant for polity. I will start giving tests. And the most important part about taking tests is that you should be able to analyze it properly, because if you don't do that, then I think you are losing out. And it's important to analyze it, that where are you making mistakes. Like for example, if I say because of my negligence in certain parts like environment, I used to make very silly mistakes. So I figured out that if I could do this and improve upon that, I could do better. And I think once you are able to use those tests fruitfully, then only there is the benefit of giving tests. I used GS Code open mock test. I guess I gave around 7 to 8 tests, and those were of really good quality. And I used open mocks a lot from various institutes, and I think I should give credit to all for providing those tests. Moving forward, my strategy for mains was also similar to that of prelims. I focused on tests. I gave around 30 tests, 16 for general studies, 8 for optional, and then 4 for essay. So I think tests are very important part of mains as well. And one of the most important aspects, as we know, of mains is our optional subject. So my optional subject was political science and international relation, and initially it was a big hurdle. So I was unable to figure out that how should I write answers, because I was not completely sure, because I relied on self study for optional. So I was unable to figure out that what exactly should an answer consist of. I knew about the content. Let me tell you about the resource that I used in my optional. I used Shubhra ma'am's notes, and apart from that, of wherever I thought that a certain addition could be done, like for example, the first topic, Introduction to Political Theory. There I took out a printout and read that. So wherever I thought that, so wherever I apart from that, the issue that I earlier stated of answer writing, I could only understand it in bits by bits. Like for example, earlier what I used to think that in an IR answer you just need to stuff the answer with scholars' name and the essays that they have wrote and give their perspective only. But once I started understanding, like I would like to mention a few. AIM from 2018, Utkarsh Dwivedi AIR 5 in 2021 Civil Services, and Dhananjay Singh Yadav, he secured 93 rank in 2018. I could understand that it's not about quoting scholars only. You need to give a multidisciplinary approach to your answers. You need to give datas as well, and you just need to use scholars as a medium to give a strong argument to your answer. Like for example, I would like to mention a question on India-Japan strategic partnership that was asked. So there, rather than restricting myself to only sources and scholars, I started giving data as well. Like for example, for strategic partnership, I quoted data that what are the disputes between China and Japan, and what are the disputes between India and India and China, and how both of them have strategic convergence on those issues. Then I moved on about development assistance and all, and from there, there were quotations from various scholars like Harsh V. Pant. Then I quoted a singular what he thinks about the relationships, where it is going, and I even mentioned David Malone's, like he said that the relations are tepid. So I use that just as a reference point rather than making it a central part of my answer. That was the case, and that's, I think, is very important in political science. I guess in terms of content, I find many people are aware of the content that what they are reading, but in terms of executing it to the fullest, they somewhat are short of that. So for that, I think if you give tests and making answer multidimensional rather than making it a centric where you only are adding scholars, I think a much better approach would be to give a distinct answer. And even all those toppers have also mentioned that. Apart from that, another important aspect of optional that I would like to mention is that you need to give interlinkages. Like again, I will give an example. Like there was a question on India-Bangladesh relationship, that how you get water diplomacy. It was, I think, something related to that. There, I used the I used the idea of Carl Deuce's communication approach, that if we have communication, we could have trust, and that trust could be a very strong point to develop India-Bangladesh relations. And another example would be that when I started mentioning about Russia-Ukraine war, I mentioned that the idea that there will be an economic interdependence and that would lead to no war, reduction in wars. That idea has failed. And in terms of, and another question in fisheries subsidy, I mentioned that the issue of developing and developed world on various issues, of which fisheries subsidy is a part, is a larger context in drain of wealth theory, or rather than the theory given that of primitive Princeton societies and primitive societies, the theories given by F.W. Riggs. So I think all in all, I would like to summarize to say that try to make interlinkages, try to do adequate amount of answer writing, and please focus on giving a nuanced answer where you are also giving a concrete view, and just don't run after quoting scholars. That would be my idea of tackling the optional. In terms of GS paper, you could make notes of the smaller topics, revise the already resources that you have read, have your data points, make notes of them, quote them. I had learned all the 17 SDGs, and I used it a lot in my answers, and I think that did pay dividend. And at last, for essay, I would say practice as much as you can, use multiple dimensions, and I think you would be good to go. So and at last, for interview, I think interview is a very subjective thing. But one thing you could do at best is prepare your DAF diligently, and the mocks that you give, whatever improvements you think you should make, and in that given stipulated time, you can do that. I think I have covered all the bases related to my preparation, and I hope and all the best to all of the future aspirants who are going to attempt this examination. Thank you.